Hello, Chef Marcus Guiliano here, your chef on a mission. Today's mission is salmon. I had a great interview last week with Alexandra Morton, the marine biologist from British Columbia. And so I said, Alex, how does one decipher if a salmon farm is doing the right thing? You go on websites, you see a lot of websites say, oh, we do this, it's sustainable, we're certified by Monterey Bay Aquarium, and we do the right thing, our feeds are this, we don't use antibiotics. I said, Alex, it's so hard to go on these websites. I know, because I know there's no right way to do the wrong thing when it comes to the types of the open pen salmon farming, which is most of the farms out there. So I said, how was the best way for a chef to decipher all this? And she goes, Marcus, the best way for a chef or any celebrity or anybody who's endorsing the salmon is don't trust the PR firm. Don't trust the inside PR department for the salmon company. Don't trust the chef who's supporting it. Talk to the local people in that community. I said, that's brilliant. She goes, Marcus, I'm in this community. I know the salmon farms, they have all these big hypes, everything they're doing right. She goes, but they're ruining our community. They're ruining our fisheries. The British Columbia natives over here, the Canadian natives up here, the indigenous people don't want them here. They formally evicted them because they have land rights. This whole big thing, they've been occupying salmon farms to get salmon farms out of British Columbia. So I stumbled across a Martha Stewart blog from 2016, August 19th, visiting True North Salmon Company Fish Farm. I've always loved eating salmon, dubbed the king of fish for its full, rich flavor and numerous health benefits. Wild caught and certain farm-raised salmon are excellent sources of protein. She goes, certain farm-raised. But it's vitally important to know exactly where that salmon is sourced and how they are raised. Located in a small fishing village of Blacks Harbor, New Brunswick, is a family-owned business that has come to be one of the leading innovators of sustainable Atlantic salmon farming. A small, what does it say, family-owned? A family-owned company that is in Norway, Canada, Chile. They're a huge company. They might be family-owned, but they're a massive company. They're out there. They're one of the leading salmon producers. Norwegian-based company, just like all the other ones. True North Salmon Company is one of North America's largest and most trusted producers of fresh Atlantic salmon and trout, as well as a variety of smoked and specialty seafoods. During my recent visit to Maine, I had the opportunity to take some friends on a short trip to True North's farm. Here are the photos, and please take some time to visit their website. You can also learn more from the National Aquaculture Association. So she shows pictures of the boats and them going out, and they come up upon the nets, and salmon net around construction anchored in the seafloor can hold 30,000 fish. And they show some pictures here going through, and she makes a comment how sturdy the nets are and how sturdy the construction is. So I have been on this kick on True North because Rick Moonen, celebrity chef Rick Moonen, who was from Oceana, the restaurant, and he was one of the people I looked up to as a young chef because he was doing lots with sustainable seafood. Well, Rick Moonen is now an endorsement. He endorses True North Salmon, and he's on their website, and he does all these kinds of things. And I tweeted him once. I never really got an answer back from him on really why he's supporting this salmon. And when you go on True North's website, the Cooke Aquaculture website, it's a totally different, they're praising and this and that. And so I took Alex Morton's advice. I emailed some people that actually live there and that are in the community, are actually part of the community up in there, New Brunswick. So New Brunswick being the Gulf of Maine. So you start in Maine, like Martha said. Martha Stewart said, she goes up. No hating on Martha Stewart for this. I've done an event with her. I've been listed on her blog. So no hate against Martha Stewart at all. Neither Rick Moonen. I just, hopefully, people like that have the power to impact thousands and millions of people, especially Martha Stewart. And I wish that she would take that power and properly educate people. It just sounds like basically this was just like, hey, Martha, come visit our thing. Let's show you. Let's get some PR. I bet, Cooke Aquaculture's PR firm set this up with Martha to do something like this. So let's go to my email that I sent to a couple up in that area. So here it is. Would love to have your opinion on this post from Martha Stewart, and I sent the link. And then my next question is, do you know which pens Cooke produces True North Salmon? because Cooke Aquaculture is located in New Brunswick, and they have pens all over the place. So I'm specifically asking this couple who lives there, these people who live there, what is the deal? Where's the cooks? What's the deal? What's going on there? So their response, quick response, oh my God, this is so much like the response to everyone that Cooke takes onto their sites. I'd like to see what Martha Stewart have said and photographed had she put on a wetsuit and snorkeled, allowing her the privilege of looking at a bunch of abused fish in the eyes, provided they still have eyes. True North Salmon is a brand, and it can come from any of these filthy cages. There's a lot of people in New Brunswick that do not want Cooke Aquaculture there. The lobster fishermen do not want it there. You go on True North's website and they say they don't use antibiotics, which may be correct. But to treat some of these things and to treat lice, you don't need antibiotics. You need harsh chemicals, harsh pesticides. You need harsh stuff that kills the lobsters, that kills other things in the bay there. Lobsters are known to go belly up after these harsh treatments that they apply to these salmon. Like Alex Morton says, and I totally agree with her, there's no right way to do the wrong thing. The way they're raising salmon in open pens is just wrong. It has to go to an inland-based system, but there's still questions even with some of that. But you know, what they did was they shown Martha, you know, flashy stuff. Years ago, I went on a tour of the Foie Gras farm here in upstate New York, here in Ferndale. This is before I was conscious of what I was cooking. And I was a young chef, and let's go visit the Foie Gras farm. So I went to go visit this farm. And of course, as a young chef, I even asked questions. So I was basically saying, well, you provide foie gras all over the country. This is a small operation right here. Do you have other operations? And I found out quickly that they do. And they said, yes, but those are not open for tours. Those are, we don't allow public tours of there. And I said, well, how many other places do you produce here? And they were like, 10 or 12, whatever it was. And I forgot what the answer was. It was early 90s. They go, yeah, we have several other farms in the area that are closed and no tours. Well, I think I know where one of their farms are. I think I drive by it up in Sullivan County on a way when I drive to a certain place. And it is all closed off. I've actually run a loop around this place before, because I park my car and I'll run, and you can hear the ducks inside this closed building, no access to outside. When you go to the foie gras factory, they have open things where the ducks can go outside and go a little around in the mud there and this net, not much, but at least they're saying, hey, they got access to sun and light. This other duck farm that I go past, there's no access to outside. There's nothing. It's a closed building, and I'm pretty sure they're doing ducks there. When I run by and I'm sitting there listening, there's ducks that are in those buildings, and closed tours. And you can never really see anybody out there. From what I heard is that from one of the locals there, that the trucks come in at night and take things out, and take things in and out, so it's never done during the daytime. So kind of sketchy, right? So of course, when Martha got duped into this, they were showing her some prime, pristine, whatever they were showing her. But the reality is, the video that's been streaming here side by side of this is showing you that Cooke Aquaculture can't. That the nets are broken. They had a storm up there. The nets are broken. They can't keep the stuff inside. They can't keep the fish in. They can't keep the animals out. The fish are getting in. It's a disaster with what's happening. So if Martha could have actually, this is great, because a lot of people say, oh, Marcus, I'm healthy. I'm like, yeah, are you looking in your veins right now? Are you looking at your blood? Are you looking right in your blood right now to see exactly what's going on, the microbes in your blood? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, well, then how do you know you're healthy? What you see on a superficial level is not what's happening inside. So she can be there on a beautiful sunny day and the nets look great and saying, wow, this is great. This is great. Look at the nets. But dive down deep inside to those waters and see what the fish look like. See what the fish are going through. See the lice there. See all the contaminants. And True North says, oh, we only use edible fish products, or we're only using heads and tails from fish to make the fish pellets to feed the fish. First of all, salmon. You have to farm fish, you have to catch fish to make fish pellets to make salmon. So there's a net loss. It costs more resources of wild fish to actually make each pound of salmon, then it's a negative effect. So, to say that salmon farming is sustainable, and one of the companies in Chile, they're genetically modifying fungus, and Monterey Bay Aquarium gave them kudos for genetically modifying fungus to feed the fish, to feed us, because they're not robbing the wild supply out there. There is no doubt that a lot of these salmon farms are using less wild fish, but in all, there's more salmon farms than ever. So we're still depleting the oceans at a higher level. We're depleting the oceans to make a fish so we can think that, hey, or they can make us think that, hey, we're saving the fish supply, we're saving the wild fish. They're not saving the wild fish. They're demolishing the wild fish populations to raise fish. So Martha Stewart, Rick Moonen, I'd like to see Rick Moonen, same thing, get in there, get down in there and look. And I'd like to see Martha and Rick ever get to watch this video. I'd like to think, let them talk to the people. Let them talk to the people that I'm talking, that I'm emailing right now. Let them talk to these people, the locals there, and find out. Because you'll find out that the Canadian government gave everything away to salmon farms in Canada. These people are complaining they can't get librarians in these small villages, these small little cities in Canada, and yet the salmon farms get tons and millions of dollars of subsidies. See, when the salmons get sick and they get viruses and they have to be put down, they kill the whole batch of salmon. And the Canadian government gives them money. So they don't need insurance for that. The Canadian government gives them full retail value because they wanted the industry so bad. But yet their lobstermen are suffering, the local communities are suffering, the Canadian tax dollars just go to this. And they're not reporting the viruses that are showing up. There's viruses that have been showing up. Alex Morton has gone to the store and bought farm salmon and got it tested. And she's shown these viruses that are not being reported in Canada. And they're keeping hush-hush on these viruses because once they report these viruses, there's an outbreak and they got to do something and it's not going to be good for the industry. So the seafood ministry in Canada, they're hush-hush on this. The farms are hush-hush on this. But the locals know what's going on. And people like Rick Moonen and Martha have no idea what's going on because they haven't taken the time. They're just sort of basically contacted by the PR people from Cooke Aquaculture, and then Cooke might have thrown some money on them and said, hey, will you be a sponsor for us? Put us on your blog. We'll give you this. Come up and visit us. We'll take care of you. We'll roll out the red carpet for you and just support our product. But really, talk to the locals. That's the best advice I can give. Talk to the locals and see what the real deal is. There's no, as Alex Morton said on my last interview with her, there's no place in the world that, and the camera's close today, so I feel like I'm up in your face a little more today. The camera, I got a new angle on it. There's no place in the world that there's farmed salmon, where they're having farmed salmon, that the wild population is thriving. It doesn't happen. They're spreading disease, they're spreading lice, they're spreading feces, they're spreading chemicals, they're killing everything off in these areas. The locals don't want them, and neither do the local fishermen, the locals who aren't fishermen. They're destroying everything. So please do your research, Rick Moonen and Martha. Please, please, please. And don't support caged feedlot salmon. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Sorry this video was a little long today, but there's so much to say on this topic, and it just drives me crazy when these celebrities jump on board without doing their homework.